Hello everyone, welcome back to my team career mode. We're at Italy for this round and I hope you guys enjoy.
Our cash is getting pretty low. We may need to shut down
So
facilities
yeah,
for a
as I
while to
say,
cut
we're
down our
here
running
at
costs.
Monza. Those eagle-eyed viewers will be able to yet again tell that we have had even more recording issues. I think 2 rounds are missing. So you will see some odd things. I'll go through them quickly as we're going to move on to qualifying now. We had 1 or 2 upgrades come into this. I think we had No, we had a failed upgrade coming into this race. We were going to have an engine power upgrade, which would have helped massively, as you're gonna see later in the race. But that has come in for next week, I think. And since we're over halfway through the season, we had teammate negotiation, and with all the money we managed to save from closing facilities, we have signed a new teammate in the form of Nico Hulkenberg, so bringing him back into Formula 1, he should definitely help bring, hopefully, some points, even though our car is certainly not quick at the moment. If we can have a quick teammate whilst we're improving the car, we'll be able to start getting those points a lot quicker than we otherwise would be with Dan Ticktum as we did before. He wasn't really matching us, and I think from the races you guys didn't see, Hulkenberg was a lot more similar to our pace. I still think we need someone perhaps a bit faster, and then going into the future, someone just generally
We're back in
faster than
Italy
us.
once again for
But
another
back to
round of the
qualifying, it's
Formula
been an
One World
okay run as we
Championship,
go
and
wide and we
what a
damage
great
the
race in store
underbody,
for us today.
and it puts
Here at the
us dead
oldest circuit
last,
on the calendar,
unfortunately.
which hosted its first race all the way back in 1922. We're 12 miles northeast of Milan for today's Grand Prix, at a Monza circuit where we could expect top speeds of around 215 miles per hour. 11 corners on this 3.6 mile track, with 7 of them coming in the form of chicanes, and with a good slipstream and DRS open, there should be plenty of opportunity for some passing here today. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Perez, Lando Norris, and Fernando Alonso. Ocon, Tsunoda, Magnussen, and Sebastian Vettel. Albon, Hamilton, Lance Stroll, and Russell. They've taken a grid penalty. Mick Schumacher, Bottas, Guan Yu Zhou, and Daniel Ricciardo. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Latifi, Roberts, Gasly, and Nico Hulkenberg rounds off the grid. That's it then. It's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat, Anthony Davidson. And our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching for as they go down into turn 1?
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get off to a clean start, and this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space, and finding your braking point into turn 1 as well. It's a testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
So we're going to go through the strategies just to double check that we are doing a similar thing. It turns out we're not in dead last. We did actually end up beating Hulkenberg and Gasly with a penalty. Puts us into P20, although realistically, is that going to help us? Probably not. We're going to fiddle around with the strategy. We're just going to match everyone else. If we do what the drivers ahead do, then it'll give us a better chance of getting ahead and also maintaining track position as well. We'd hate to lose out because we choose a bad strategy because we're trying to risk it, and we really don't need to risk anything. We certainly don't have to cover performance for points, let alone the podium or even wins, and certainly not championships yet. But everything is going to change soon, hopefully. I don't know if I kept it in, but there's rumours for a regulation change, so whenever that email pops up, it's almost certain that there is going to be a regulation change, so we can start saving our points, and hopefully we can get a good season 2. We're going to skip to the start of the race, 5 red lights, and it is out. We're going to try and keep it in first for as long as we can before having to shift up, but we get loads of wheel spin. We're running 0-0 wings right now, and you're going to see throughout the race just how much understeer we're going to get through some of the high speed, medium speed. So I think in the end when we pit we change it up to 1 in the front, so 1-0 later on in the race, which is definitely going to help as well on the hard tyres, but we'll have less grip. But we do manage to keep it around the outside of Hulkenberg, whereas Gatti is already side by side with Ricciardo, so he's not wasting any time getting those positions back that he lost. We have a worn engine component, I think it's a gearbox, so realistically that shouldn't hinder our performance too much, but we have a massive moment as we almost run into the back of Ricciardo, but we keep the car moving, and we've now lost out to Hulkenberg. Well, how we managed to catch that, let alone keep it going in like a straight line and not spin, is rather remarkable. But staying on to the back, we're just going to double check for floor damage or anything, but we are all sorted, we're all good. We're still following Hulkenberg, and you can see we're just not getting the run that I wanted to. I ran 0-0 wings in the assumption that everyone else around us would be running more, but it turns out they might even be running unbelievably high camber setups more than us, because their straight line speed is unbelievable, yet their cornering is also better. So I'm not too sure what's going on with the setups and the AI. I think we're running 104 AI for this race. Next race will be our highest AI at Singapore, since it's one of my best tracks along with Hungary. I think we're going to run 107, 108 AI at Singapore, and we did the same at Hungary, which was a very boring race in reality, so if anything it might be a good thing that we missed it and jumped to here. We do manage to get back past Hulkenberg though, although we did have to use a lot of our ERS. Luckily we've made some upgrades to the ERS, so we are recovering it faster than we otherwise would be in like a stock car. But the problem is we've made so many engine upgrades just to try and keep up, because as we all know, engines are the most dominant force in Formula 1. If you've got a good engine, then you'll be competitive, especially at tracks like this and Spa. So we've done loads of engine upgrades, but what this has meant is we've had so much power but no stopping force. So we need to get brake upgrades as soon as we can. I think we need to start upgrading facilities, but we're also saving money for a teammate. As we can see, yellow flag, I think that was Bottas, has gone off. So maybe there was a battle that ended badly for him just up the road. I think that is, which is why they're bunched up. But we'll see what happens if we can sneak past perhaps, but they're running away. Even though we have 0-0 wings and we were in the slipstream, it's not like we were very far out. It's kind of unbelievable how quick they're exiting these corners. I'm fairly sure the AI speed glitches have been fixed, but we're using overtake now, not to try and overtake ahead, but just to try and defend from Hulkenberg behind. He's got stupendously quick straight line speed. Luckily he doesn't send it up the inside like some AI do. I was thinking about sending it up the inside of Joe there, because he had a terrible exit. We're going to play it safe, shift it into 4th really quickly. Using overtake, we're going to pull alongside, are we? Going to go to the inside or outside of this corner technically, keep the racing line. That should help us going in, but we're going to back off as he sends it into the side of Ricciardo. He's extremely lucky to not have got any damage there, and we sneak up the inside of Ricciardo now as well. So just due to Joe and Ricciardo battling, we've now got ahead of Ricciardo. Although let's be realistic, he's in a McLaren and we're in the slowest car. Even compared to Williams, we're miles off the pace, so keeping a McLaren behind is going to be incredibly difficult, but of which I love the new livery that's in the game at the minute. Not as nice as the Ferrari one-off livery. I wish we'd got around to this episode when they had that livery, but I guess the game's a game and we didn't just get around to it quick enough, considering we've got iRacing and stuff going on. But back to the race, we're going to try and keep up with him as much as we can. And now, Hulkenberg's even going on Ricciardo, but through a high speed, is it even worth Hulkenberg trying to fight it? I mean, Ricciardo's going to have the straight line speed on him, and we're going to try and give Hulkenberg the slipstream if you can see behind us. But Ricciardo slots in behind Hulkenberg. Oh, but now they're going defensive and they're behind us. I think they're side by side. Hulkenberg's going to be on the inside. I think Ricciardo might take this. Oh no, he gets terrible wheel spin and Hulkenberg stays ahead. And that's the kind of thing we wanted from a teammate. You know, if that was Dan Tipton, then Ricciardo would have gotten past him easily there, but Hulkenberg in that car seems to be doing wonders for the performance. We're just having a bad time going through these corners. There's not really much we can do in terms of cornering ability and slowing down and grip, and it's not like we don't have any upgrades on the car. I mean, if we'd done this track with the Bahrain car, this would have been horrendous. I mean, I feel like I am also partly at fault because I used to do league racing. Only a week ago I stopped on this game in the equal performance cars, and that car is faster than this car. We've got another yellow flag, and that's Stroll in the Aston Martin who's off. So 2 cars, and we get a warning on the exit for track limits. But that's now 2 cars that have had incidents there. Whether that was a battle going on that forced him off, or if it was oversteer, understeer, I'm not really too sure. I can't put my finger on it. They're very peculiar incidents, but we're certainly not going to complain as we get a few free positions. We've even broke out of the DRS with Daniel Ricciardo, although as we've seen before, the straight line speed of these AI this race is insanely quick, so he's going to catch us back almost instantly. We do get a pretty nice starting chicane, and Hulkenberg and Ricciardo battling behind us is going to make us run away even more. At this point I was feeling quite confident because we're now 1.92 seconds away from the cars behind. However, as you have clearly been seeing in this video, our cornering ability is definitely not there this race. I'm trying to use the quickest possible lines that I can, but he's still gained 5/10 in that chicane, and we're not really helping ourselves here. We're missing apexes, we're getting loads of understeer, and I'm not too sure whether it's a setup or just a car, because I ran this setup with the equal cars in league races and it seemed to work absolutely, like, it was amazing. We've got another yellow flag up ahead. What is this? I think we've got a car going slowly on the corner exit over Ascari. That is Schumacher going slowly. So that's another free position. We're up into 17th. We should definitely not be this high considering how slow our car is. I mean, Ricciardo's made a second gap to Hulkenberg in a lap, and I think that just shows the pace of the car, and Hulkenberg's not slow. As you saw, he was battling with Ricciardo. He was not going to give up against him. So the car, you know, I mean, whilst, yeah, it's slow, but a second in a lap just proves not how slow the car is, but how quick the AI is. I mean, we've lost DRS of the cars ahead. Luckily, they keep battling, though, and again, we get a pretty okay. I was going to say pretty great, but it was realistically, it was only decent. It does put us back in DRS, but we're not using any overtake, and again, now they're out of a second. What we're banking on is cars ahead battling, but you know, you can't just rely on that. You do need some form of natural pace to keep up with the cars ahead. It's no good cars battling ahead but you being out of the DRS to jump them. I mean, it's very easy to get stuck in DRS trains, but if anything, a DRS train for us is good because that's going to help us defend and attack from the cars ahead, which is really what we need right now. I mean, like I said before, the car is certainly not quick, but with the same luck we've been having before, we need that luck to continue. So I'd like to discuss for a bit the future of the My Team career mode. I think what I want to try and do right now is save up for the event of a regulation change and see if we can save some resource points. So we're not going to do any upgrades until the end of the season. After Singapore, I think we have 5, so we have 6 races after this to save resource points. I'm hoping we can get a few thousand in the bank. We certainly don't have that many upgrades we're going to need to keep and protect. However, I think that if we can save everything and have a few thousand left over to spend on upgrades coming into the next season, we might be able to make some big jumps, because not necessarily are people ahead going to keep improving. You know, a lot of higher teams might not be able to save all of their upgrades and stuff, and they might decrease in performance, and even the lower teams that are just ahead of us, they might decrease in performance as well. So what we're looking for is to have no losses but no gains, because if we make upgrades during this period, then all of those upgrades are going to have to be protected and we won't have the resources to do it. So we're going to start upgrading the car as soon as we get into Season 2, and see where that leads. And like I said, we should have a few thousand. We'll have lots of money hopefully to make department and like aero, engine, chassis, durability upgrades, all of that good stuff to get those better upgrades. Which is really what we need because this car is really slow right now, and if anything, it's a bit of a pain having to drive it around because it's so sluggish and slow. You have to really work for wonders to be able to extract the full performance of this car. On to the final lap we go now. We're defending from Magnussen after all the pit stops and all the strategy has happened in this race. We've kept P18, so overall we've definitely gained. We've gained 2 positions, and for the car performance, that is certainly a lot. We've had 1 drop out of the race, but regardless, that is still P18. Magnussen sends it deep. We're going to go all the way back around his outside. We're going to keep it in 5th to try and gain as much traction as we can. Sergio Perez has already won the Grand Prix, which means we're almost lapped in this race. We're now on orange tyre wear and an orange engine component, which I mentioned before, which is the gearbox. We're going to get DRS and overtake. All the AI are going to be dumping their battery, but we're going to do the exact same. We're going to make Magnussen go defensive all the way around the outside. We're going to squeeze in, but we think that we're just going to brake really late, hit the apex, and Hulkenberg might even have a chance of getting him, considering Magnussen would have had a terrible exit, although he's going to be right in our slipstream. He's going to follow us from side to side of the track. We're very aggressively weaving to try and break the slipstream. We're going to try and send him to the inside, but he sticks to the racing line. So all we need now is a really good exit and make sure that we don't spin the car. We almost do, which is why we chased it up to 6th way too early, and that is going to be P18 in this race.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé. So another fantastic victory for Red Bull today. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
So there we have it. That race was certainly a success in terms of gaining position. We're going to choose the option that gives us the most resource points, because like I said, we're trying to save up for the regulation change, and hopefully to even get some more upgrades on the car into the next season. It might perhaps be too early to think about next season, however I think no matter how many upgrades we're going to do this season, we're not going to catch up, so I think saving might be the best option. We're not going to open up any of our facilities again just yet because I want to save up for a new teammate. And then perhaps if we built up enough acclaim, we'll be able to open them up for season 2. I'm excited for the next race though. Singapore is a very good track in my opinion. Maybe not so much for racing, but I love lapping it. It's certainly going to be a challenge in this car considering the lack of downforce. But I hope you guys enjoy this race. I thoroughly enjoyed recording it. I know it wasn't the most exciting race ever, but I still hope that you enjoy the content and watching it all. Sorry that it took so long to make, but I've been quite busy lately, and I made those iRacing videos, so I do apologise, but it's out now, and I'm going to try and keep making them as often as I can. So I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good one. Bye bye.